So I've got dinosaurs in this black bag. I have not seen the box yet, other than literally a tiny slither of it and what was shown on Warhammer Community. So I'm really excited. I thought what I would do is I would open it completely out for you guys, get the sprues out, see if we can get it painted up in this video. But yeah, let's get into the box. I'm actually really excited to get into these. If you can't tell, I love dinosaurs, as everybody does. So yeah, just slide this away. Reveal this. Love the art scheme already. This all came out, if you've seen the Warhammer Community article, when it came out, I can't remember the date. These are all cardboard, which amazing that Games Workshop are doing it. I personally would prefer them, especially now they've got a 3D printer, to just sell as STL files of those kind of things, because that feels like the new old school. But obviously they haven't. Or, you know, just give us the terrain. If you're not aware or you haven't been keeping track, it comes with 3 Dragon Riders, or Dragon Knights, or whatever they're called, and then the Exodite Dragon Masters, which will be separate characters in 40k. And then it comes with the Beast Snagger Boys, and then the Squig Hog Boys. So it's almost like a Beast Snagger Combat Patrol in there, which if you've got Beast Snaggers, it's always going to probably be either nice or you're not really going to want it. It comes with a book, and the cards, and the decals, and then the tokens that Kill Team have, which I'll just quickly show you the back before we get tucking in. So I've got my trusty Batarang here to get ourselves opening. The box opening Batarang. So I'm just going to pop that here. Instantly met with the Beast Snagger box. Squig Hog. Just going to put these to the side. We'll look at them later. So it looks like we come on 3 sprues. Some nice bits. What I quite like is the banners are quite plain, so it does mean just decals or freehand. And a lot of nice texture on the dinosaurs there, or dragons as they're called. Unfortunately, no special artwork. I did quite like it when they do that. But then this fancy box, a piece of tissue paper. They've also changed the colour of this, which some people will be very nice. And then it comes with the normal orc, or at least the old orc clans decal sheet, or at least the old orc clans decal sheet, and then the Exodite Dragon Masters decal, which again I'll show you hopefully a little bit of detail, and then all of the bases are rattling around the bottom. And this is the artwork that is in there, that is on the box. I do quite like these artworks. My only problem is with them that these tabs kind of ruin them a little bit, but hardback book, which is interesting, seeing as all the codexes are going softback, almost makes a kind of like a codex style book, pretty much the same size as a codex. Really, just quickly flip through this, see if there's anything juicy. And again, they've showed off the where you can make your own monoliths, and a scrap totem. So very much leaning on the build your own terrain, which kind of would make me believe that they are stepping away from terrain building. There's quite a few pages of that, to be fair. Then Exodite weaponry, all the war gear, and then all of the kind of clans. Kind of have decided on the colour scheme for mine. I was just seeing if any of them matched at all, which they don't. But what it doesn't show is multiple colours for like the dragons themselves in the artwork, so they're very clearly like, if you go in box art, that's kind of the colour that they want them. I don't know if it's because they didn't have multiple of them at the time, but yeah, we're filling this table up nicely now. Tokens, nice colours. Interesting to see what this is in Kill Team rules. Do quite like Kill Team. Don't get to play it as much as I would probably like. Then you've got your instruction manual here, which I'm very much looking forward to going through. Looks like some posability, which is nice. 4 different neck options and a few different arm options that you can just kind of put on the dinosaurs, which is nice. And then again, the same for, they've got the Dragon Rider build in there as well, which is quite nice to have both of them there. And then obviously your Beast Snaggers and how you build them are all in this book. Then you've got these sleeves, which have nothing in them. I'm not sure if that's where the decals should be, but or whether this is where you put your or where the cards. So this should have Exodite Dragon Master data cards, Orc cards, which are all here, but they're on smaller ones, which is interesting. I don't hate that. If you've got this kind of size card, it's not terrible for me. I think they're quite readable, but my eyesight is pretty okay. Probably the best reflection of whether they're good size or not, but it's kind of readable. I don't know if you can read it there, so I don't know if that's what they're for. But yes, that's the contents of the box. Let's get to building, painting, and yeah, let's get some dinosaurs done. Rawr. So yeah, before we get building and painting, I've done some custom kind of characters so I can get the most out of this box. This is with an old world or AOS old Seraphon kit, and I really like the look of dinosaurs. I just couldn't get past the dinosaurs, riding dinosaurs bit. It was almost like giving people piggybacks. And then I've just taken one of the guys that are on the jet bikes from Combat Patrol and put them on top. I was going to build the arms and bodies and everything like that separately. I think if you had the newer kit, it would probably work a lot better. I didn't have that lying around. It might be a conversion that I want to do later down the line, just so I've got some variety in my species. For me, that kind of looks cool. You're going to be used as like objectives and so potentially the knight, because I've got the 2 variants, and yeah, that's what I'm kind of going to do. All of them different color schemes. So yeah, I will hopefully show you some reference images and stuff to make yours look a little bit more unique rather than the bog standard kind of blue. I'm not as much of a fan of that because it's not as true to life. I know these are plastic toys, but I try and make them look semi-realistic, sort of semi kind of like they would fit in a world, and blue dinosaurs don't really do that for me unless they're aquatic. And even then, if you look at any real life mammals or fish, they tend to not be blue. So yeah, I'm taking a lot of inspiration from the designs that Games Workshop have made, and for me they look a little bit like Suchomimus and Baryonyx, and there's a lot of different kind of dinosaurs that I blended in to make that one. So I'm going to kind of look at that as the reference and look at modern day birds to try and make them look sort of unique. So like things like cassowaries and different kind of animals like that that are going to be put together. I do have myself some reference images that I've created and mocked up just to use as the look. As for the Exodites, I'm going completely off field like I normally do, and I've created my own lore. As for the Exodites, I was waiting with this box to create my own kind of unique faction within the Eldar race. So this is going to be an Exodite Corsair army that are joined together. Basically, the Corsairs were going out and they spotted a maiden world that was being destroyed at the time, and they decided to help out. And in doing so, they evacuated people off the maiden world and are looking for a new home for them. And that is literally their only goal. So these guys are looking for a new home for them, and they have to go out and raid and pillage supplies for the Exodites, which is kind of going to allow me to have them on different battlefields and it feel more real to me, like they have to stop off on planets or do different things to kind of survive, rather than it being like every battle that they're on is a maiden world. So that's kind of my lore for them. What I'm also doing is I'm going to try and mix some of them. So that guy's body down here, he's going to be painted up as these guys, and they're kind of mixing and merging all of their cultures together because they've been together so long, because they've been struggling to find a maiden world. But yeah, so that's kind of lore that I can go into in more detail in potentially a separate video. If you guys wanted those kind of things, scenarios and custom characters and custom factions are pretty much like my bread and butter. I also like to make sure that they fit in universe as much as possible, because I don't like it when it's too left field. I also know any opponent that I'm coming up against might not like that, but in the same vein, Prince Uriel can't be everywhere. I don't like the idea that Prince Uriel's everywhere, whereas this prince, have been given a weapon from the chief of the Exodites, who they both share a bond, and they both basically rule the two factions together. So that's kind of my lore behind it. Don't know if I've put this in or before or after the initial video, but yeah, I'm going to jump over, get these all built up, get them painted, or they are, and you've seen them, and this is tag on at the end. I don't really know, I'm going off script. Now that we've got the Exodites fully in front of us, we can start having a look at the sprue and get them built up. As with all my tutorials, feel free to follow along. I will be using tools such as airbrushes in this, but if you wanted to use a sponge or anything else, you are more than welcome to. And they will get pretty much the same effects that I will get. It's just that's my preferred method. I'm by no means an expert, so it is kind of just a play-by-play and what I've done. So yeah, lots of experimenting and lots of cool parts to play with, like that lamp. But yeah, well, I'm going to get into this book now, show you a couple of the options, and get them built as quickly as possible. Starting off with cutting out the main body for the dragons, and then we can get to the options. A little tip here would be to cut out all of the neck options, just so you can kind of pose them as you would like, because they're all interchangeable. Because they're a single part, it makes it easier to kind of look at what pose you'd like and kind of go from there, rather than committing to a single neck and then kind of going from there. This would be great, especially if you want like multiple units, or you've got the characters in there as well. You can really kind of pose these kits up, especially seeing as there is only the 3 technical kits available to yourself at the moment. But yeah, this is the fully built sniper character. I really like the pose of this one. I kind of like the idea of the dragon not really paying attention, maybe just sniffing off in the distance. That kind of thing was what I was aiming for. With the Psycho guy, I wanted it more in an aggressive pose. I did swap one of the arms out there, as you can see, for one of the bike guys from the Combat Patrol, just because I thought that was quite a imposing or more authority pose than what he already had. But yeah, he's the final dragon for reference, I suppose. Moving on to the painting section, and I've undercoated these with Desert Earth and done a Zenithal highlight of Ashen Grey over the top, just to kind of give us those undertones and kind of see where my shadows would want to be. I don't always use them, but it helps me differentiate between different materials and where I might want my lights and my shadows to be. A lot of the time I like to mix up the colours, so I kind of get a bit of a different undertone in there. And as you can see, all of the Eldar have been given the same treatment. That's just so I can kind of see where the cloth is compared to the armour, just so when I'm painting it's a lot easier to kind of manage that. Anyway, onto the first steps of actual painting now. To start off with, I'm going to be using Desert Yellow through the airbrush. You can use a sponge or thin down the paints almost to a speed paint consistency to get similar effects. This is just kind of to darken down all the shadows and just lift up the vibrancy of the underside of the dragon. What I would also look to do is try and catch the feet as much as you can. If you do get any overspill, it doesn't matter at this stage. All you're going to be doing is blending it in later date anyway, so it's kind of going to make something a little bit more natural. I also did the same just for the riders, just to kind of give those shadows just a little bit more vibrancy just when I go to do the next stage of painting. So the next step, I use camo green again through the airbrush, but you can use any of the aforementioned kind of techniques. This is just to get some colour down, just so I can see the different areas that I kind of want to paint and see where I want to blend and kind of what I want to do really. This is all an experiment at the end of the day. But yeah, so the top areas I really kind of try to get darker, and I try to then get a little bit of a light blend between the browns and the greens. I don't know if that's being caught up on this, but yeah, that's basically what I've attempted to do with this green, is just kind of get it all over, just kind of see what I wanted. I tried to avoid the head as much as possible for now because I wasn't necessarily sure what colour I kind of wanted it to be to start off with. I have blended in the tail as well, just because of the thinness of it. There was a lot of overspray, and I kind of like that natural blend that was coming from that area. So as you can see, this is the stage of the camo green all on. I am going for a male and a female variant on this species, and they are going to have some sort of sexual dimorphism, which means that the male's head is going to be a lot brighter than the female's head. So this one, as you can see, is kind of... But yeah, as you can see, this was repeated on every single dino, as you can see playing in the background right now. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, what I thought I'd do is talk about some of the references. So I've picked up a lot of images from Jurassic Park. Jurassic World Evolution is a great tool for dinosaur looking. They have a lot of different skins on there, and what I'm going to try and do is emulate some of the patterns on that, trying to make them look as realistic as I can kind of make a dinosaur look. I've also looked at a lot of reference images for lizards and avian species such as the cassowary to kind of make a cohesive colour scheme for this dinosaur. And then this is how all three are looking at this current stage. Moving on to the male and his head, I used ultramarine blue through the airbrush again to kind of get that cassowary kind of look. It is quite vibrant and strong at the moment, but we will be dulling it down later, so don't worry if you are following this and you kind of go, that looks way too blue. I did also add this across the back of him as well to kind of get that blue blend throughout the body.
To also tie them together a little bit more, I also did it for the females, so just down the spines and the hands, avoiding the head almost completely. As I said, that the male is supposed to be a lot more vibrant, but just kind of tie them in a little bit more. It does get covered up in a later step, but not completely, so you can kind of see that blue undertone in the Again, this is how they are looking at this stage of the painting process. As for the next stage, I'll be jumping over to the brush and going back to the base colour of Desert Yellow, highlighting and getting all of the raised areas of the underskin painted up. Moving back to the upper part of the dinosaur, I'm going to be using necrotic flesh to kind of separate out the browns from the greens, just highlighting the scales in between the tail and what are the lower scales of the dinosaur. This will kind of just give a bit more of a clear definition between the two layers. To add the patterns and the kind of camouflage into the dinosaur, I use Blood Reaver Flesh. I added this to select scales at kind of random intervals throughout the whole of the body leading up to the tail, and then added a couple of stripes through the legs and the tail. The key kind of takeaway from this one would be just take your time. You only want to paint a scale at a time, so it is quite small. It's not anywhere near as bad as painting eyes. Get your paint consistency right, make sure your brush is sharp when you're doing it, and you will be fine. This is kind of like a fingerprint, so if you do get anything wrong or you do make any mistakes, it is going to be fine, guys. At the end of the day, get out the way, brush. Everything that is going on this model is supposed to be real life. Not every tiger stripe, not every kind of animal has perfect prints all the way across them. So don't worry if you do make any mistakes, or you go 2 scales over, or you do anything too thick or too fat. It's an animal at the end of the day that you are painting. It's natural. Things don't look symmetrical in nature. Just something to be aware of. Don't let it put you off. Go for it. Try new things. This is the whole point. This is kind of an experiment. I did then also use this on all the top scales as well, just to kind of make sure that they are all locked in. I also use this on his claws and his toenails just to kind of get everything a consistent colour. I then wanted to have a look at what it looked like with the rider on top. I do think it looks quite realistic, so I'm quite happy with the results so far, and I just wanted to make sure that I didn't need to dial anything up or bring anything back. I think it's always good to go back, look at your references, look at what you are trying to achieve, and make sure that you're kind of hitting that target. So having that rider on there is a really good visualization of what you actually want to achieve. And then moved on to painting the eyes just standard white. This one does have a scar on it, so I started using necrotic flesh, just kind of make a bit of a different colour scar tissue kind of look to it, which I think came out quite nicely. But yeah, I'll let the painting do the talking on this one. As again, this is a very kind of fiddly step. I didn't actually know it had a scar on to start off with. I was painting as a normal eye, was just like, this isn't working. Why is it not working? Then had a proper look, and made sure that I actually had the model painted. So that's a good tip. Make sure you study the models at as much detail as you can. The next stage is added a new technique in, bringing basilisk red over the face of the male. That was because I wanted this bright, vibrant colour, and I thought the red would really pop nicely on the blue. Using the sponge will mean that I just kind of get the raised edges and leave that blue in the recess. As you will see in a moment, it looks very striking at this moment in time. I will kind of dull that back a little bit, not to lose its shine, but to kind of make it look a little bit more real and less kind of, wow, what is going on in this? The next stage, I took a lot of inspiration again from Jurassic Park and Dilophosaurus to kind of use those frills and use Scared Scarlet to kind of make that orangey kind of look. At the moment it does look a little bit out of place, but I do kind of blend it in a late stage. This is a work in progress, and again, it is just experimenting. So guys, feel free to just kind of shove whatever paint you want on it. It is an additive process at the end of the day. So you can just kind of go wild with this, have a little bit of fun and see what kind of sticks and looks good. I then use topaz skin to kind of blend it and bring it back into the other colours. I do kind of blend it into the quills as well, just to kind of make a bit more of a natural variance, because it has got a little bit more of a red tone in there. But using that kind of lighter base tone to start off with, I could not paint the full area and just kind of give it a bit more of a dark orange hue in the kind of shaded areas. This is then further pushed in the next stage using lava orange to kind of really make a very vibrant frill and quill for it. I also then added some of the orangey browns into the legs, kind of just to make a bit more of a vibrant stripe that you can kind of see on the tabletop a little bit more. That still kind of looks like it could be some sort of camouflage. Jumping out of sequence now, I'm going to focus on the Eldar Riders, their armour and cloaks, just because I'll use some of those colours in a later date and I wanted to kind of keep it consistent. And yes, so this is how the rider is looking on top of its dragon. Starting with the armour, I use tiger eye skin. This is just to get kind of a base tone of a kind of terracotta look that I was aiming for. Again, going back to the use of reference images, I took a lot of inspiration from Aztec kind of colours, so that kind of terracotta look with what will be a jade kind of look on the clothing is the kind of desired effect that I was aiming for with this. Thought it would transition and kind of have a really nice impact against the greens and more natural colours that the dinosaurs are going to kind of have. But yeah, this is kind of just thinned down a lot with the speed paint medium and just slapped over. So if you do make any mistakes, don't worry at this current stage. It's just to kind of get that base tone down. The thinner you get it, the better your kind of zenithal will look in it. It will keep kind of those brighter tones in the higher areas and those darker tones in the lower areas, as you might see or want it to be fit. And then went in with a few raised and edged highlights, all with topaz skin, just kind of get that brightness as you would kind of expect from most Warhammer models. These are quite small models, so taking your time, kind of doing some scratchy highlights if you aren't as comfortable with doing edge highlights, but again, using a very fine tip brush and trying to get your consistency right. It's a really nice model to kind of practice that on. There are quite smooth edges, kind of like rounded bits where you can really kind of do those kind of scratchy little bits. Finally, moving to the cloth where I've just slapped plasmatic bolts all over. I have highlighted up with this, but I have lost the footage unfortunately. So what we'll be doing is moving to the final reveals. These were a blast of paint, and I really hope you've enjoyed this process of me filming this.
Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. I'm not sure what the basing scheme that I want to do, and I'm not sure what colour the spirit stones are going to be or the skin, and I was running out of time to get this video out. So what I thought I'd do is throw it to you guys and see what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think I should do. There's way more stuff in this box that I haven't filmed, painted, built, anything like that. So please let us know if you want to see more. Click that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Dinosaur. Dinosaurs. Rawr. Rawr.